welcome back to the third quarter of the Bobby Dupre Show. And of course, my sidekick here, Andrew. We got to make sure you get paid that 000, 000 now. We're in the third quarter.
That's right, third quarter. I'm ready, baby. I'm going to get my money.
Real quick, let's get our sponsor in.
Oh, I can handle that. How about some sponsors? LHC Group, all your home health care needs. LHC Group, it's all about helping people, everything from the therapists in your house to the nurses in your house, the special beds, the special lift chairs, the oxygen equipment, all that type of gear you need. Extended care, maybe you're in a hospital and you're ready to go home, but it's like, I'm not quite good enough. Maybe you don't have good help at home. Maybe the kids don't live around here, so your rehab's gonna take a little while. They've got extended care in your local hospitals, like Opelousas General Health System, where you can stay in the hospital. Don't run that big bill that the main hospital costs you. Run that smaller bill while you're going through the rehab, and you're right there on the premises to get all that good medical health care. Don't forget about them for palliative care, hospice care, and the Health and Wellness Center with nice brand new tennis courts right there on Heather Drive. And let's go with, how about Dixie Storage? All your storage needs. Now look, if you're working on a big project, I got friends of mine working on big, huge projects, and they need steel from Baton Rouge to New Orleans to Lake Charles. You know what they're doing? Alexandria. They're sending the steel to Port Barry to Dixie Storage because it's one of the very few public railroad spurs. They're sending huge railroad cars full.
That has the equipment to unload or load.
Put it back in the 18-wheeler to finish delivering it. I mean, they'll run it on the railroad car through Lake Charles to come to Port Barry to make it easy to unload onto the 18-wheeler to bring it back to Lake Charles. That's just the way the thing works, because they can do it cost effectively. They can store it for you till you're ready to use it. They can do inventory control. If you're a guy that's buying and selling stuff, they do inventory control for you at their locations.
Joey Doucette, the son-in-law of Mr. Randolph, I tell you what, he's brought that business to another level.
Very sharp guy, and he's a guy that keeps his ear to the ground, so he understands when new businesses are expanding in the area. He understands, look, I have some products that may help you, some services that may help you. And so he does that. Great guy. A+ Glass, don't forget about their sister company. Locations in Lafayette and in Opelousas. They do any kind of glass, from auto glass, home glass, commercial glass. They do car inspections as well. I had a passenger window, the hand crank broke. The glass was fine, but the hand crank broke. And rather than bring it to the dealership, I brought it over to A+ Glass here in town, and they changed the whole handle and everything for me, nice and neat, nice and easy.
How about that?
Go by Dixie Storage.
On the death side, we didn't cover any obituaries last week. I apologize, particular to the Ted Griffin Sr. family. I saw Mr. Ted. I grew up during his time, I guess you could say, because he died at the age of 86. And I've told this story on the program here once or twice over the years. Maybe it was on the radio section when I was on radio. But he used to bring his little family over on Saturday afternoons. There was no McDonald's or anything like that. They would come over, and they didn't live that far. They would walk on a good, like cool weather we having right now. They would walk, the little family would walk to get a hamburger with mom and daddy at the little cafe. And of course, he became very successful educator, participated in the education of kids in St. Landry Parish throughout his whole life. And of course, he leaves behind his wife of 63 years, Miss Beverly Monclaw Griffin, and her sister is married to Morton Roy Sr. Or Junior. No, Junior. I think he's Junior. Senior was his father
Marty
who
would
died.
Be the third.
Yeah, the third, right. So anyhow, a well-known person. And another person who died that I should have covered last week is Miss Victoria Tesano Ware. And I mentioned a while ago, she raised a granddaughter, Angela Brown, Dwight Brown's wife.
Oh, really?
And of course, Angela comes to the little services, the chapel on Tuesday afternoon. She was there last night, and they all worked to serve. And look at how beautiful her grandmother was.
Gorgeous, huh?
Gorgeous lady.
Why don't we show the track here, Steve? If you want to pop this up, we can show it real quick. While you're on the topic, we can show these. and then come back. You've got the sunset over the track, and then there's the...
That's Dwight and his wife right there, Angela,
There you
right
go.
there. They were
Right.
leaving last night, and then there's a lady in the
Right there,
back, and I
between the
was
cars.
blocking her. That's her vehicle,
There you
and
go.
I was in the back of her, so she was waiting. I don't know her name. She's a very nice lady. Her husband is an assistant trainer, and she, since they've reopened the track 2 weeks ago, she has been attending the services, and a very nice lady. I've got to get her name.
Back to the obituaries here. Our friend Miss Mary Leday's anniversary.
It was an anniversary 1 year ago, and of course, her husband is Joe Leday, and her son, of course, is Reverend Greg Leday.
Absolutely.
Mary was, she was the firecracker in that family. She was my political friend. We generally were on the same team there. Mr. C.J. Andrews died from Grand Coteau. He was 87. That's about that age. John died. He was 87. The Second World War veterans.
That generation.
That generation.
The greatest generation,
And
as
of
they
course, I can't say that I knew him personally, but his son, Abby Andrus, was our mechanic when S&S Suzuki, Ramp Spire and I owned S&S Suzuki, and of course a fire got that while I was in New Orleans. I didn't get to see the fire, but I saw what was left, and it was in bad shape. But anyhow, our deepest sympathies to Abby, and of course Abby runs a successful little mechanic. He does specialty work right across from the, what's the name of the church in Grand Coteau? The big...
Charles Borromeo.
Borromeo. I can't ever get that.
And he's got
St. Charles,
he's got a Grand National Oldsmobile Cutlass with nitrogen in the trunk that he works on.
It's not a Dodge.
It's not a Dodge. It's a
I've
Cutlass that he's got.
Showed
it's a
it to
Grand
me
National. I mean,
during retreat. I don't talk. I just listen when I go talk. When I go visit
but
Abby.
that car coming out of the factory was a very must be like a 440 or 444. It's a huge engine in that car.
You remember
Beautiful
for our reunion and our Hall of Fame awards, one of the people who received it was Mr. Leroy O'Brien.
Correct.
And a large contingent of his family attended.
Daughter came in from the northeast, so we sent some stuff. I think I sent some discs up there.
Yeah,
and everything.
we sent. She
DVDs.
bought and bought tickets and I'm not sure. You know, when you played a role I played that day, I didn't see a lot of the people that were there.
Hard to shake all those hands.
And I think one of the members of the family came up and got his. He was very ill, I know, at that time. Anyhow, he passed away, and his funeral, he passed away peacefully on Easter Sunday, and he was buried yesterday, Tuesday. Actually, in the services were held in the Long Funeral Home on
In
Bertrand,
Lafayette.
because that's where he was living, but he's from New Iberia, and he was part of that team, and I think it says here he was a 3-time high school champion.
Very good.
Leroy O'Brien.
Now, Steve, we're in the third quarter still, right? I got to think for a second because
Yep.
I got so many things going on here. How about this?
We got two golf tournaments coming up on the 24th.
We do. That's correct.
Is the Earl Taylor fundraiser for charity and his political campaign fund. He splits the money raised in half. And that is on the 24th. That's tomorrow, Thursday, starting, I guess, the first tee off probably is 8 o'clock.
Right.
And he has a large contingency of people that come and attends and participates in this golf tournament every year. And then on the
May 12th will be the Lighthouse Mission in Opelousas.
No, but then there's one before that. There's the Indian Hills Country Club has one, and theirs is the May the 1st, I think it is.
right.
May 1st.
There you go.
Yeah, unless I correct it,
don't have that
it's
one.
May 1st, and that's raise money for St. Jude's. That's,
Excellent,
That's
excellent.
the donation that the Lee and Shirley Young family work real hard to raise money for the St. Jude's Hospital and Research Center.
And May 12th is the Lighthouse Mission. It's going to have their golf tournament there as well. If you want to help them out, you can give them a call. Give Mike Fontenot a call at 351-7851. How about this? We're talking about St. Jude's. Don't forget on May 3rd, Saturday at the new Silver Slipper. If you've been, a beautiful building.
I've got to go.
Call Malcolm Lala on. He can probably give you a tour. He knows what the original building was like, but he probably can show you around the new one too, I'm
Probably
sure.
could describe it.
But go by and tell Paige Melanson and the whole group hi. They're having a huge brisket cook-off. Should be a great, great time, great event. Call Janet, 879-7050. The food is going to be excellent. And go take a look at that building. You know, they've got a full-blown restaurant there now.
And the Washington State Bank, which is one of the oldest continuous operating banks in the state of Louisiana.
Correct.
18-something, very old. And they, of course, don't operate as being old. They operate as being on the cutting edge of technology.
Absolutely.
And they are opening and having their ribbon cutting River Ranch office. How about that? River Ranch, that's where that big, big money is. And Miss Sue and the staff is going over there. And how already they're operating and making loans, making a lot of loans, I understand, already.
Big inroads there.
She's very excited about the opportunity. She's happy. They're going to be, that's going to be May 1st, and that's at 10 a.m., and that's at 1042 Camellia Boulevard, Suite 9, Lafayette. Didn't build the brick and stone. They're going in there.
Into one of the suites in one of the existing buildings.
That's correct, and they've remodeled it for their particular need, and it's going to be a loan origination office primarily is how they're getting started.
To help,
good way to get started.
Help grab those commercial customers on it, and personal customers too.
Let me tell you, with all the lending companies that operate in Acadiana, the Evangeline Downs Hotel Group, of which I'm a minor part, Joe Fred and I, Lil Joe, and a group of us, J.E., bought a little interest to give Mr. Jim Bervin and Mr. Bill some encouragement. And we tried to get the loan reworked. Refinanced. The interest rates have gone down, but we couldn't get the people that had the loan to go and be competitive, so went out shopping. And I mean, shopped it hard. You hear me? You know who ended up with that loan?
Washington State Bank,
Miss Sue and her staff
Absolutely.
ended up taking care of
Started
that. So don't think because they're old and they're small that they can't help you, because they're good at partnering up with the big boys who turn the bank, who turn the loan down, and they'll take a percentage after Miss Sue gets on.
The thing I learned is that the old ones got deep pockets, so that's who you want to deal with, right? Banks with deep pockets, and all my old friends with deep pockets. They do
How about renovations? Oh, you want to get to the
How about that's this weekend. Go by, it's Saturday, April 26th. That's in Orneville. Go see Miss Kathy Reshore. They have the Mayor's Cook-Off. $30 entrance fee. It's very, very inexpensive. I think all the money goes to St. Francis Regis Church. That's our good friend, Father Keenan Brown, who's the pastor over there. But go by. Let me tell you, it's going to be a fun time. You might see me there with an apron on. That's the rumor.
Oh, yeah,
watch out.
Well,
watch out.
I know why you're going over there, but that's all right. Make sure you work, and not just that mouth.
Work your plan.
Not just that mouth.
Work your plan.
We're going to talk about renovations of the governor's mansion on Liberty Street. No, it's 35 seconds.
Okay, all right.
We don't have
not
enough
time for you.
The Robin Hood Foundation. I don't know how many of you all might have caught 60 Minutes Sunday night.
Right.
Tudor Jones. He has he's a billion and a half billionaire, $1.5 billionaire. And he has spent over $1 billion trying to help the hardcore, the areas,
inner city
education in New York City. And he has spent over $1 billion. He finally hit the touch. You got to take them when they start kindergarten till they graduate from high school. He started the first project, he started it at 8th grade, and that was too late. They had missed all the foundation. You've got to get the foundation. See you on the other side of 1 minute.